Hey guys, okay, I know several people always ask about how to keep up with records and planning and stuff like that. So I just want to show how I use the Happy Planner to keep all of my state required school records. This is the Big Happy Planner. It is the teacher's edition, so it's a little bit different than some of the other. I don't have a classic here with me to show you the size difference, but this is an 8.5 by 11 size, so it is bigger. I will forewarn you, you'll see some kind of funny looking stuff in here because this is our personal homeschool stuff. There are some pages that have identifying information in there, like our address and that sort of thing. So I covered some of them up with washi tape. I have some copyrighted information in there that I paid for that I'm not showing online, so I do have some pages covered, but I'll tell you what the page is just in case that you're interested, and just let me know and I can give you the link where you can get the same information, but it does cost money. Okay, so this is the Happy Planner Teacher's Edition. I keep all of my resources in here. I live in Kentucky, and in Kentucky we are private schools and we homeschool under the private school law. So that means that we have to keep attendance, we have to keep grades, and we have to teach in the English language. We have to teach the basics, reading, writing, math, that sort of thing. We have to teach for a required number of days as well as a required number of hours. And we have to send a letter of attendance, a notice of attendance, to our local Board of Education every year before we start our homeschool. It sounds a little like it's kind of crazy, but really it's not. And you'll see, what I'm talking about. So when you first open it up, this is the best practice document from Christian Home Educators of Kentucky. They got together with the directors of pupil personnel to make sure that, because we are private schools in the state of Kentucky, that our records and our students are protected and our homes are protected under our constitutional Fourth Amendment right to privacy. So basically this is just a document that they came up with on how they are allowed to ask for records, considering we are teaching our own children in our own homes, so we are protected by the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. So this is just lays out guidelines on how they are allowed to ask for our records, and as homeschoolers, what our responsibilities and our rights are, and it just protects us and the school board from getting themselves in trouble. So I print out a copy of this every year and put it in the front of my planner, so that way if there's any kind of information then that anybody needs or anything, then I've got a copy of it on hand. So because we're private schools, we have to send a notice of attendance. This is what I was talking about with the washi tape everywhere. So this is where I sent my notice of attendance to the Board of Education. This page that I have covered up with this lovely bandana, this starts the consult plan that I get from A Delectable Education every year. I am a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. I strive to do an authentic Charlotte Mason education with my family, which looks a little different than conventional school. It kind of freaks people out a little bit when they see everything involved, but A Delectable Education is absolutely amazing, and I get one of their consults every year, and they kind of help walk through where we're at and try to help me to help my son in the best way that we can, and how that we can implement Miss Mason's ideas into our homeschool and her philosophy into our homeschool and stay as true to the method as possible. So this is our yearly scope and sequence from ADE, and it's got like all of our classes, our page numbers and that sort of thing on it that we kind of break up. And some extra information for mom too. There's homework for mom on there too. And this is just the general information page that came with the planner. Covered up our address on it. Okay, so this page, I'll slide this over. This is our year at a glance. I've had to make some changes, as you can see, but this is our year at a glance that you would see, even if your kid was in public school, the school system usually sends out a tentative calendar at the beginning of every year. That's kind of my tentative calendar, so that I know when I'm taking breaks If we want to take a family vacation or we want to schedule a big trip or something, then we've got it taken care of here. This is our daily schedule, what I do every day. This is just some notes on stuff that I need to do. I had to revise some days. We had a little bit of vacation difference, so I had to change some stuff around. And this is stuff I really don't use because I'm only teaching my kids. So I mean, I don't have to have extra information for a substitute. Okay, so on the month at a glance, I kind of just put like first day of school on in my planner. I'm not going to go through every single thing. On in my planner there is some other stuff written on these, like appointments, field trips, that sort of thing at a glance, when I send out or when I do my report cards and that sort of thing. So and then it goes into the weekly. Okay, and my weekly plan, it's a mess. So I kind of have everything written out, like what we need to do. This is the first week, so week 1. So it's got some goals at the top, and that sort of thing. Some stuff that we didn't get to, I X'd out. Stuff that we did get to, I tried to put check marks. You can see I kind of missed check marks on some of it. And then he does service hours. So for his Boy Scout thing, and he helped a boy with his Eagle Scout project, so he got service hours, so I just wrote it down here. And then our afternoon occupations, I write down over there as well. So, and then it goes through every week's a little bit different. We try to keep up with where we left off and where we, it's not perfect, but we do the best that we can. Okay, so then after you get through all of that, we get back here to the attendance thing. And so here's my son. Well, it went through, I numbered 180 days across the top, and I have our attendance records. So some of this, we did some merit badges that were actually relevant to school. So we did, he did a CPR class, we did a field trip, that sort of thing. We do field trips every so often, so all of that is in here. And then we get back to our grades, which I'm not going to show. We have to keep attendance, so this is one of his report cards, and then I do give him some notes on the side of his report card. He was being very sloppy with his handwriting, and so I just reminded him that if he wanted to get a good, we have to keep grades. I just reminded him that, you know, he has to do his best work in order to get credit for that. And then that's kind of it. I do have a grading scale back here. This is a Charlotte Mason grading scale. Rochelle Baborina posted information about this on Instagram, and it was information that she had found that what Charlotte Mason used in the PNEU schools. So I kind of tried to use that same thing. So that's our grading scale, and I keep a copy of that in there because, like I said, we homeschool under private school rules, private school statutes. This seems to work. Oh, I just knocked this. This seems to work really well for me because all of my records are in one place. I have some scatterbrained ideas, and if I tried to keep stuff in different places, it would get lost. I also have a punch. This is a disc-bound notebook. I don't know if you know what that means or not, but a disc-bound notebook, pages are removable, and then you just pop them back on. So because this is a disc-bound notebook, if I wanted to keep any of his work or anything like that, then I could just hole punch it with my disc-bound punch and stick it in here. Not a big deal. Next year I will be doing things a little bit different. I keep a happy planner every year, and then because this is my whole year, by the time I get to the end of the year, all of my records for the entire year are in here, and it's a lot easier for me to keep up with one notebook on a bookshelf than it is for me to keep up with a ton of different things and different items. So that's what I do. And if you look up here, well, if you look up there, I make a label that has the information of what school year it is, so that way I can keep my records on the shelf and I know which one goes for which school year. I already have mine for next year. I'm thinking I probably won't get him one just because he's a boy, and as much as I love happy planners, they all are kind of girly and he doesn't like it. So I will probably make him a notebook, a disc bound something, so that way he can keep track of his information all in one place. We do a nature notebook, we do a book of centuries, we do all of that kind of thing. So just like a place for him, for his commonplace. I do have a personal commonplace. I don't have it with me right now, it's on my bookshelf, but so that way he can write down his information and kind of keep track of his stuff a little bit himself. And I will put in his worksheets and that sort of thing that he does for his Latin. We use visual Latin, and I will put in, some worksheets and stuff like that, or at least his quizzes or something that he needs to do each week. And that way all of his, he can keep track. He's going into 7th grade, which is a Form 3 student, so he is perfectly able to keep track of the stuff that he needs to do. Mommy doesn't need to be keeping up with absolutely everything for him. He's got to learn a little bit of responsibility and do that himself. So I will help him to do that. I'll start helping him at the beginning of the school year, and then once we are getting through, through the end of the school year, by the end of the school year, he's going to be a lot more independent, and I'm not going to be standing over top of him to get it done. But that way he can keep his reading logs when he finishes a book. Then he can write down the book that he finishes and how many pages, the author, and that sort of thing. Like I said, a commonplace, if he wants to do a journal or anything like that, it'll all be in one place for him, so that way we're not keeping track of 20 different notebooks for him. It's all in one spot. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And thank you.